For Scrum Masters, I really get this question often. How can a Scrum Master be listened to so that they can get their message?
Yeah, I hear this a lot too. So one of the things that I recommend for people is to be a good servant leader, right? A good servant leader puts the needs of other people before themselves. And so by being a servant leader, you put people first and that you show that you care, right? And you look for opportunities to help people grow both personally and professionally. So let me give you a story of one of our learners on our online education program. His name is Das. And he was working through a challenge in his organization. And the challenge was a pretty tricky one, actually. The issue was he was working in a big organization and the product owners were not dedicating time to reduce technical debt. They were just focusing on features, features, features. Very common behavior for organizations, right? And technical debt, if people aren't familiar, is all these little shortcuts that people take, which is another challenge, to get the product to market, usually as a result of pressure. Usually that pressure comes from the business, but it can come from technical management because they're working under deadlines. And so this technical debt was adding up. It was not being paid off. And so Das recognized this issue and it was causing an impact on the morale of the team. And so he started working to resolve this challenge. But what he did is he first talked to his own manager and said, listen, here's a problem that we have in the organization. I've been observing the impact. Here is what I think is going to be the long-term impact. And he said, what should I do? And so his manager said, thank you for bringing this to my attention. He says, let's go talk to our VP. They talked to the VP and the VP was unaware of this issue. And the VP suggested, the vice president suggested, go talk to your chief product owner, so the boss of all the product owners. And so Das went there and set up a meeting to talk with the chief product owner. He came prepared with some data, but little did Das know was that all of the product owners were there. And so he was a little bit surprised. But what he did was he was really patient. He listened, so he used his really good communication skills. And he listened to their perspective. And then because he was prepared, he was able to talk about his perspective, the impact of the morale on the team, but also really tie it to dollars and cents. He says, if we don't make this investment in reducing the technical debt, we are going to pay this amount of money, this amount of time in the future. And while he didn't convince all of the product owners, he did convince the chief product owner to say, hey, in the next release train, so they're doing Scaled Agile Framework, SAFe, he said, in the next release train, we want to dedicate some time to pay down the technical debt. And that really showed that Das could work the system, but also do it to improve the lives of the team. And so how do you become listened? How did he become listened? He was successful at working at resolving little challenges within the team that his own manager and his vice president had confidence that he could resolve this bigger challenge. And so my answer is be helpful. Start fixing things in a small way, and people will recognize that, and they'll give you that opportunity to fix the bigger things.